Hello and welcome back to Von Millhausen Plays, a channel where I, Von Millhausen, play a game chosen for me at random from my library by the Wheel of Fate. Last time the Wheel gave us Renegade Ops, a twin-stick shooter. Not really my cup of tea, but pretty solid for what it was. So let's spin the wheel and see what we get this time. Gothic II Gold Edition. Oh boy, I think this is going to be a doozy. Welcome to Gothic II, or more specifically, Gothic II Gold Edition, which includes the base game and the integrated Night of the Raven expansion pack. Gothic II is a 3D role-playing game developed by German development company Piranha Bytes and published by Austrian publisher JoWooD Productions on November 29, 2002. Or at least that was the original German publication. The rest of Europe got the game on June 13, 2003, and North America got it almost a year after the original German release on October 28, 2003. Unsurprisingly, Gothic II is the sequel to Gothic, also an RPG developed by Piranha Bytes, which was released on March 15, 2001. Piranha Bytes is best known for their two main game series, Gothic and Risen, and they're still going today with their most recent game, LX. Both Risen and LX are also RPGs. Publisher JoWooD filed for bankruptcy in January 2011. In their heyday, they were the publishers behind many well-known games like Panzer Elite, Aquanox, Arx Fatalis, Soldner, Painkiller, and Torchlight. Their assets were acquired by Nordic Games. Gothic and Gothic II use a 3D engine that was developed in-house by Piranha Bytes themselves. Both games received good reviews, with some criticism of the graphics, which were not as detailed as other 3D games of the era, and in the case of Gothic II, there was some criticism of the voice acting in the English release of the game. Despite being nearly 16 years old at the time of this recording, Gothic II appears to have a lively and enthusiastic fan community, and in fact I'm going to be playing a slightly modified version of the game using some community patches. More detail on that in a moment. This game is emblematic of the very reason why I started this channel in the first place. It was one of the very first games I ever purchased from GOG.com back in July of 2009, along with Fallout 1 and Descent 3. I downloaded it once, fired it up for a few minutes, got killed by a goblin, and never played it again, despite the fact that I was, and still am, actually interested in playing it. And on a side note, I have also never played Fallout 1 or Descent 3. I don't own Gothic, the first game. I seem to remember at the time that I picked up Gothic 2 that the user reviews on GOG said that you could start with Gothic 2 without missing too much and would benefit from a somewhat more modern take on the world than the original game offered. To me, Gothic 2 looked like another Oblivion kind of game, and I loved me some Oblivion back in the day, so I added Gothic 2 to my GOG basket, and that was that. I've got some community patches, as I was saying, installed for this particular playthrough, so I'm hoping that they don't break things too much. Specifically, I've got Gothic II Fix 2.6 Revision 2, a version of the main executable that was distributed with various German magazines. This version of the executable has some internal changes that generate more logging information, and many other community patches required this version of the game executable to be present. I've got Gothic II Player Kit 2.8, a fan-made patch that fixes some bugs in the final version of the game, and also extends the game engine, offering some additional modding capabilities. I've got Gothic II Night of the Raven System Pack 1.7, a fan-made patch that adds a whole bunch of features such as support for more recent operating systems, memory usage improvements, support for widescreen resolutions, etc. And the possibly problematic GD3D11X17.1, a graphical overhaul that uses features from DirectX 11 to improve the visuals of the game, including real-time shadows and lighting, etc. I've also got basic normal maps and Vert's improved textures normal maps. These work with the DirectX 11 patch to improve the interaction of some of the game's textures with the new lighting system and other effects. There's at least one known issue with the DX11 patch that I actually came across myself while doing some test recordings. I'll point that out near the start of the game. There may be other issues with that DirectX 11 patch, and I'm hoping I won't have to disable it, as it does do some fairly nice things with the visuals, in my opinion, over what the game kind of originally shipped with. Before we begin playing, let me recap the events of the first game for you, so that you know where we're starting off from. Gothic 2 follows on from where the first game ends off, and in my opinion, the in-game intro doesn't do a great job of explaining things. So here is the backstory of Gothic 1. Spoilers ahead if you're ever planning to play Gothic 1. On the island of Khorinis, humans are in a losing war against the orcs. The human king needs magical ore to make weapons to fight the orcs, and he set up forced labor camps at the mines using convicts. To stop the convicts from escaping, he orders the 12 most powerful magicians in the land to establish a magical barrier over the mines. But something goes wrong, and the barrier expands to encompass a large portion of the island, trapping the magicians themselves inside. In the ensuing chaos, the miners overpower the guards and take control of their new mining colony. They eventually split into 3 factions: Old Camp, which controls trade with the outside world; New Camp, who are planning to destroy the barrier using the magical ore; and Sect Camp, who believe that a god called the Sleeper will help them to escape from the colony. The magicians also divided, with the fire mages joining the Old Camp and the water mages joining the New Camp. We play an unnamed prisoner who was thrown into the colony with a letter to deliver to the fire mages. We discover that their leader, Xardas, deserted so he can study black magic. The sect camp perform a ritual of invocation for their god, the Sleeper, and they have a vision showing them the way to an old orc graveyard. During the ritual, the leader of the sect camp, Iberian, collapses. The graveyard is searched and nothing is found. Iberian's condition worsens, and before he dies, he warns the rest of the sect camp about the true evil nature of the Sleeper, and says that they should abandon their god and instead side with the new camp's water mages and their plan to destroy the barrier using the magical ore. The water mages are glad of the help, but they need the assistance of the fire mages to activate the ore. However, it turns out an internal incident within the old camp has resulted in all but one of the fire mages having been killed. We go to find Xardas, the last and deserter fire mage. Xardas tells us that his black magic studies have revealed that the Sleeper is a demon that was summoned by the orcs to help them defeat the humans, and that the demon is in a temple under the orc city. With Xardas' help, we manage to enter the temple and destroy the demon. The barrier collapses, but so does the temple, and our hero is buried under tons of rubble. So, without further ado, let us begin a new game.
A single prisoner altered the fate of hundreds, but he paid a high price for it. He defeated the Sleeper, destroyed the barrier, but while all the other prisoners escaped, he remained behind in the rubble. It was I who dispatched him against the Sleeper. Now it is I who brings him back from there. He is weak and has forgotten much. But he is alive. armies back. There you are again. I never thought the two of us would meet again.
I feel like I spent 3 weeks lying under a load of rocks.
Well, so you did. Only the magic within your armor kept you alive. I had feared I might not be able to rescue you from the debris of the temple, but enough of that. You're here now. There's a new threat that we have to deal with.
Okay, so now we're into the game proper. So you can see we have a bit of a dialogue system here, and we have 2 options to choose from. What new threat are you talking about?
After the fall of the barrier and the banishment of the sleeper, Beliar's wrath has grown even greater. A mighty artifact, so it is written in the old scriptures, will be brought back to this world when the god of darkness sends his henchmen out to search. This search has long since begun. Beliar's henchmen are desecrating the oldest shrines of the gods. The guardians of these holy places have awakened, and their wrath makes the earth tremble. Every powerful magician on this island could sense this wrath. And some of them have certainly begun to face the threat. You must become their ally. That's the only way to stop Beliar.
Okay, to be fully honest, I'm not really sure who Beliar is, but let's just assume he's some evil dude that was involved in the sleeper plot from the first game. We've got plenty of time now. The sleeper has been vanquished.
At least we have enough time now. I did it. The sleeper
has been banned. You vanquished him, so much is true. But it's not within our power to stop the war that ensues now. With his final furious scream, the sleeper has set into movement the armies of darkness. It was an order to all evil creatures, a word of power that they were all bound to obey. His last order was, "Come," and they came, all of them, even the dragons.
Dragons?
They are creatures of an ancient power. I can sense their presence, even here. And they have gathered an entire army of lowly servant creatures around them.
Where's this army now?
The army is camped not far from here, in the Valley of Mines near Khorinis, and they're getting ready to attack. We do not have much time left.
So, sounds like dragons have assembled armies, and the dragons are kind of waging war against everybody. So, we have to defeat a bunch of dragons, I'm guessing. What can we do now?
What can we do?
This time we cannot handle it by ourselves. Only the power of Innos will help us against these dragons. A group of paladins is stationed in the city of Khorinis, not far from here. They possess a powerful artifact which could help us to defeat the dragons. They call it the Eye of Innos. You need to get hold of this artifact. Tell the paladins about the threat. You must convince their leader to support us. And once you have talked to him, you need to find the artifact of Beliar. It is the counterpiece to the Eye of Innos. It must not fall into the hands of evil.
Okay, what exactly is the Eye of Innos?
What exactly is the Eye of Innos?
It's an amulet. Legend has it that Innos himself was poured part of his power into this amulet. It will restore some of your lost strength and help us defeat the dragons. It also has some other hidden powers. I shall tell you more about that once the amulet is yours.
That's a bit suspicious. Why not just tell me about it now? Why would the paladins give me the Eye of Innos?
Why would the paladins give me the Eye of Innos?
Because you are the one who is destined to wear it.
How can you claim to know that?
There are a number of reasons. The most important being, you have defeated the sleeper. If you weren't a favorite of the gods, you'd be dead by now.
Let's assume you're right and I'm destined to bear the Eye of Innos. How would the paladins know that's true?
I was just thinking the same thing.
Chooses the one who may wear it. Once you get hold of it and put it on, the paladins cannot doubt your words any longer.
Okay. I still have to convince them to allow me to try putting it on. How can I get into the city? I'm assuming it's the city where the paladins are holed up.
How can I get to the city?
Just follow the path from here through the mountains. The city is large. You cannot miss it, but watch out. The path to town is not without dangers, and you aren't nearly as strong as you once were.
Well, I guess I'm going to need some weapons then.
I need weapons.
I can only give you whatever little I have here. Look around in my tower. Anything that looks useful to you, you can have.
Okay, I'll be on my way as fast as I can. Ends the conversation.
I'll be on my way as fast as I can.
Good. And one more thing. Don't tell anyone that you've talked to me. Above all, don't tell any magician. Since I have gone into exile, the Circle of Fire has taken me for dead, and that's a good thing.
Okay, Chapter 1, The Menace. Now, this is going to be a mostly blind Let's Play. Let me just pause for a sec. In my research in getting this game up and running and patched up with the community stuff and all the rest of it, I have read some stuff about the game. So the game is split up into chapters, and one of the recommendations I saw was that you try and do as much stuff in a single chapter as you can, because sometimes when chapters change, things that were available to you previously will no longer be available, and new things become available. So it's apparently recommended to try and get as much stuff done in a single chapter before triggering whatever event it is moves on to the next chapter. I'm going to save here as well. I had a testing slot where I was doing my recording, but let's just call this LP1. Doodly-doodly-doo. So now we get to explore Xardas's tower. So one of the kind of criticisms about the first game was that it had a kind of a slightly unusual control method. And apparently when Gothic II was in development, late in development, they decided to add mouse support. So although I'm using mouse look here kind of thing, there was a lot of tweaking I had to do to get mouse look even working this well. And there's like a weird disparity between the speed of looking up and down versus the speed of looking left and right. There is a button you can press to go into first person view, but you can see it's really kind of jerky. I don't know, it doesn't control very well, and like strafing is weird. Like you can see how slidey my character is. Like I'm just tapping the strafe key and he's kind of drifting around the place, and it's I don't know, it's just really weird. When you're in third person view, he's much snappier in his strafing. I don't know, the control method is a bit odd. When I tap forward, a bit like Tomb Raider, he runs forward by a set amount. So I can't just like inch forward. He'll only take these giant steps. So there really are some oddities about the control system. Just over here, I can show you one other oddity with the control system. You can't strafe diagonally. You can either walk forward or you can strafe left and right, but you can't run diagonally like in most kind of 3D games these days. So that's going to be annoying. But let me just pick up a heavy branch here, which is the first weapon we get. And I press tab to bring up my inventory. And I press the action key on the currently selected item. We only have one item, the branch. So that is now assigned the branch. I've equipped it. And the number 1 beside it means that the 1 key on my keyboard will activate the branch. So if I press 1, our hero takes out the branch. Now, if I press the left mouse button, which is the attack button, nothing happens. The way combat works in this game is that you press the attack button, which indicates that you want to make an attack, and then you can either press the move forward button, which does a forward attack, or you can do the strafe right button, which does a right attack, or the strafe left button, which does a left attack. And the combat in this game is rhythm based. So if you get the rhythm of your swings of your weapon right, you can kind of chain attacks together to be more effective. So for example, if I just spam left and right really quickly, you can see he's only taking swings every now and again. But if I time the swings to get the animation right, then he can get more swings into the same period of time. And apparently it's the same with forward attacks. There's different attack strategies for like bladed weapons versus you know, blunt weapons and melee weapons, and there's bows and there's magical attacks. I don't know. This is just some of the stuff I've read. I've not gotten much further than going outside and getting killed by a goblin. Just like I did many years ago. So the first thing we need to do is we need to explore Xardas' tower, and I think actually most of this episode is just going to be going around and reading stuff. So if you are already a fan of this game and you're not interested in seeing Xardas' tower and learning about some of the lore and basics of the game, I guess you can wait for episode 2 to come out. But I hope you will stay with me as we explore and learn. I have not fully explored his tower, and I've not read any of his stuff. I've mostly just kind of tooled around in this room. I got the first weapon out there, and then I pretty much left the tower. So let's just have a look. I'm still in combat mode, and when you're in combat mode, you can't pick anything up. So I'm going to leave combat mode, and now I can pick up a potion. We have an alchemist's bench.
What with?
Okay, we don't have any items in our inventory that we can use with the alchemist's bench, so we won't do anything with that right now. We have a rune table.
What with?
Again, I don't have any runes or whatever is needed to activate that. There are books and other kind of lore scattered around the world and can be read. So if we activate the book stand here. Healing potions and ingredients. Essence of healing, 2 healing plants. Extract of healing, 2 healing herbs. Elixir of healing, 2 healing roots. All work at the alchemist's bench requires a laboratory flask, which is used up in the process. To brew any healing potions or potions to strengthen magical power, you need a special ingredient and a plant, meadow knotweed. God, I'm making hands of this. To brew any potions that affect permanent changes to the body or the spirit, you need a certain plant, King's Sorrel. Okay, so in order to brew potions on the alchemist stand, you need the ingredients, and you also need an empty glass bottle. There are temporary stat buffs that you can get, and they also require meadow knotweed to be added to the alchemy thing. Or if you want a permanent boost, you need to find King's Sorrel and add that. And there we go. So that is alchemy. I've never done any alchemy, so I'm not really sure how it works. I'm assuming this is like a training dummy. Actually, just out of curiosity. Okay, he's not doing anything. Let's just move along. I'm just going to use your... Oh, I can't use that book stand because it's in use by Xardas. We can talk to him. Okay, let's find out some more information.
Where exactly are we?
As I already said, near the city of Khorinis. I have rebuilt my tower here.
But it's only been a few days since we last saw each other in the Valley of Mines.
The servants I summoned to build my tower have done a thorough job.
You can say that again.
But they built your tower with like slime and moss in the walls. Is that just an aesthetic choice? Where can I find better equipment?
Where can I find better equipment?
The closest place where you can get better weapons and armor is the city of Khorinis. But down in the valley you can find some healing herbs that will help you if you get injured in a fight. See the lake right in front of my tower. A secret passage leads to the valley from there.
Okay. Why is the Circle of Fire not supposed to know about you?
Why is the Circle of Fire not supposed to know about you?
I used to be a high member of the Circle. Even then I suspected that demon magic might be the key to the magic barrier. But I could never have convinced the other members of the Circle to follow this path. So I left the Circle in order to study the black arts. That is a crime for which the fire magicians, the ordained of Enos, the ever good and virtuous, will accept no excuse. They are certain that I'm still alive, but they have no idea where to find me, and that's a good thing too.
I thought you said earlier that they assumed you were dead. You're not being very reliable with your data here, Xardas.
So what should we do next?
We shall proceed as planned. There's no other way. You can go get yourself the Eye of Enos, and I shall keep looking for answers.
Okay. Now, something else that we have is a quest log. If I bring up... sorry, this is our character sheet. Quest log is this key, yes. So our current quest is the Eye of Enos. We have no completed missions, we have no failed missions. We have no general information available to us. And this, I believe, will get filled out with more detail as time goes on. So that's our quest log. We have our character sheet. So we are guildless. Guilding is how character building is done in this game. So rather than like choosing your class and then signing stat points and all the rest of it, you join one of the 3 guilds that are in the game, or I think possibly 6 or 7 guilds that are in the game with the expansion pack Knight of the Raven installed. So you can see our other strength details here. They go up with, I believe you earn learning points. You can see it down there at the bottom of the character section. You earn learning points as you gain experience, and then you spend learning points to improve your basic attributes and your skills. I think it's something like that. I'm assuming we'll learn more about that later on. So what have we got over here? An old stone tablet. So if we go to our inventory, you can see we have the heavy branch. Down at the bottom you can see how much damage it does, 10. It requires 10 strength. It's a one-handed weapon, a value of 1 gold. We have an essence of healing potion, and we have a grey stone tablet. And if we activate the tablet,
I can't read that.
Our character doesn't know how to read it yet. I think this is something that comes from the Knight of the Raven expansion, but I'm not sure. Okay, that's that, and we still have it in our inventory. We do. Okay, so let's move on. There's this portcullis here that has a chest and some stuff. Ooh, can I access the chest from here? It's too far away. Okay, so I'm not sure how to activate that portcullis. So in here we had the log that I picked up already to show you the combat stuff. We have a stove.
What with?
So again, you can get raw ingredients that you can cook in this game. The cooked versions of the ingredients generally tend to be more potent, say, in terms of healing than the raw ingredients. So sometimes it's worth waiting and cooking your like meats and stuff that you get rather than just eating them raw. I don't seem to be able to interact with those. You can interact with the armchair. We shall enjoy Xardas's fire. Oh wait, hang on. Just there on the right hand edge, is that a different stone or something? It's not popping up a hint. Can I interact with it? Ooh, I can. The portcullis is opening. What have we got in here? We got a mysterious potion. There was a blue potion. Mana essence, so that's for the magic system in the game. One of the guilds you can join is the Mages Guild, and you can kind of specialize in magical attacks and stuff. I think I'm probably not going to do that on this playthrough. My understanding is that in this game you don't regenerate mana over time. You have to get mana from consuming potions and other expendables, and I don't know, that doesn't really appeal to me. I prefer the magic system in Oblivion, where you just, you know, mana was basically a cooldown timer. We have a chest. What's in here? So the chest's inventory, the chest contents is over on the left, and our inventory is on the right. So the chest has 20 gold coins. I will take all of those. You can take things one by one, or you can take them all in one go. We have a heal light wound scroll, and we have a fireball scroll. Now you can see that the reading scrolls takes up mana just the same as if you were casting a spell kind of naturally, and you can see how much damage it does and how much it's worth. So I'm not sure, I might hold on to these. I also read that your inventory in this game is essentially unlimited. There's no encumbrance or anything, so you can carry as much stuff as you like. So one of the recommendations I saw was basically just pick up everything that isn't nailed to the floor and just never get rid of it. You can sell stuff for money, and I seem to understand that money is an important thing in this game. You need cash for stuff, but I don't know why. You can sleep in beds. I'm not going to bother demonstrating here because the animation is long. Sleeping allows you to heal over time, but it does take up time. So we can go up or down. Let's go upstairs first. I can show you the first problem that I came across with the DirectX 11 patch that I have installed. Let's grab another potion here. It looks like it was another healing potion. So out here, up at the top of Xardas's tower, he has a statue of Beliar. Now, reading about this, there are 2 gods in the game, and Beliar is one of them, and he's like the dark god. I'm not going to say evil, but he's the dark god. And what you can do with the statue of Beliar is you can pray at the statue, and you get the choice of either stopping praying to the statue or to sacrifice some of your health. And depending on how much health you choose to sacrifice, you may get more or less of a like a bonus from Beliar. Like your favor with Beliar as a god will go up, and he can start granting you like temporary bonuses and buffs and stuff. Now the problem with the DirectX 11 patch is that you can see this kind of red border we have on the screen and the wibbly wobbly camera effect. This is what's known apparently as a full screen spell effect. It is a visual effect that takes up the entire screen, and with the DirectX 11 patch, when one of these full screen spell effects goes on, then the user interface of the game isn't displayed at all. So right now there should be a like a conversation type window down at the bottom where I get to choose what I want to do with the statue, but it's not visible. So I'm just going to press the W key once, which brings to the bottom of the options, which is to stop praying, and I'm going to press our action key. So I'm hoping that these statues or those full screen spell effects aren't going to crop up too often. If they do, and if it becomes severe, then I might need to uninstall the DirectX 11 kit. There is a way you can, there's an option you can bring up. I don't know actually if I press the keyboard shortcut for it, if this will actually appear. But if we press Control F11, oh god, I didn't mean to press it when I was standing in front of the statue. You can bring up these controls for the DirectX 11 thing. You can turn on and off a thing called, if I can find it here somewhere, atmospheric scattering. And if you turn atmospheric scattering on when you're in the menu of the game before you get into the game world, then the user interface is correctly shown when you're like praying to Beliar and stuff, but the actual full screen spell effect then is not shown. So I don't know, that could be even worse in the long run. Let me stop praying to Beliar. Go over here and Control F11 to hide that again. So it's possible that if I was to do things that way, we'd be able to use the statues, but maybe we'd miss out on important full screen effects that might tell us status information about stuff. I'm not entirely sure, so I'll need to keep an eye on the whole DirectX 11 thing. The DirectX 11 thing is what's giving us these like real-time shadows and stuff that we see here. So I kind of don't really want to turn off if I can get away with it. There's a key on the table here. So let me open the chest. With the key gets used automatically. So we've got some more gold coins. We have a scroll of light. We have a lockpick, and we have a dagger. Now the tree branch that we picked up did 10 damage. The dagger is only doing 5, so I think I'm going to keep the tree branch enabled for the moment, and maybe we'll sell the dagger later on. So I am going to start reading all the things. Let's begin over here and work our way around the room. Okay, hunt and prey. Every beast or creature has certain trophies that improve the wealth and glory of experienced hunters. An experienced hunter knows all about the trophies of the prey and how to gut them. Extract teeth. Teeth are the weapons of many beasts and creatures. If you know how to extract them from your prey, wolves, snappers, shadow beasts, swamp sharks and trolls are the best targets. Skinning. A talent experienced hunters value greatly, for many animals have pelts. Sheep, wolves, and shadow beasts, for example. Shadow beats, it says. A hunter with a skill can also skin swamp sharks and lurkers. Extract claws, an art to be used on all kinds of lizards, snappers, lurkers, and shadow beasts. It is calling them shadow beasts, but I think the text is supposed to be shadow beasts. And I'm not sure if there's a way to go through multiple pages in a book. So I don't think so. I think that is the end of that book. Let's read this one. Hunt and Prey. Okay, I guess this is the next chapter. Every beast or creature has certain trophies that improve the wealth and glory of... Okay, yeah, this is more the same. Blood Flies. 2 special skills are required to gut these flying devils. Their wings can be removed and their stingers extracted. Both arts shall be used by experienced hunters to claim their trophies. Field Raiders and Mine Crawlers use mandibles to attack. Minecrawler mandibles are particularly valuable as they contain a secretion that increases magic powers. However, it should be used sparingly as the human body ceases to react to it over time. Minecrawler plates are also popular. They can be used to make armor. Alrighty. Potions for permanent changes and ingredients. Elixir of Dexterity involves 1 goblin berry and presumably the other, was it King's Knot or whatever it was called. Speed Potion, 1 snapper weed. This potion requires not King Sorrel, that was it. This potion requires not King Sorrel but a meadow knotweed. Elixir of Strength, 1 dragon root. Elixir of Life, 1 healing root. Elixir of Spirit, 1 fire root. Brewing these recipes is the highest art of alchemy. They all have the use of King Sorrel as an ingredient in common. Apart from the speed potion, I guess. The potion of speed is much simpler to create, which is also due to the fact that you do not need King Sorrel. Okay. Noted. So, there we go. I was too far away from the book. The island. The harbour city of Khorinis lies on an island off the coast of the kingdom of Myrtana. The island owes much of its fame to the Valley of Mines. Its reputation is dubious, as for many years a magic barrier spanned the entire valley, which served as a prison for all the convicts of the realm. Thus the valley became a prison colony, where the convicts mined the magic ore far below the ground. Outside of Khorinis lie a series of farms which use the good soil to plant wheat and turnips and breed sheep. For generations, the largest farm has belonged to a landowner who rents the surrounding lands to other farmers. On the middle of the island is an ancient monastery of Innos, led by the magicians of fire. There they conduct research of magic and alchemy and press wine. Okay, as you do. And the last book. The Way of Battle. The best defense is good offense, at least against anything non-human. It's useless to parry animals or monsters' attacks. It's better to keep the foe at bay with well-aimed blows and then launch a surprise combination attack. Of course, only experienced fighters can combine their moves. If you become a master in the art of battle, you can even use several combinations. And I think that's to do with the whole kind of getting your timing right for different types of attacks. So there isn't anything else to do up here in the upper part of the tower from my test recording exploration. So let's go downstairs. Let's back into Xardas. Okay. Here's the ground floor. That leads outside. We'll get there in just a moment. So there's some shelves over here with some stuff. You can get a torch. A carafe of water. More torches. More water. A lab water bottle. So possibly the lab water bottle, which I guess is this one. That might be the glass bottle you need for making potions. I'm not sure. I haven't tried that yet. We have another chest, which has another torch in it, 10 gold, a heal light wound scroll, and a fireball scroll. Whoops, hang on. Did I leave something behind there? I did. There was another fireball scroll. Okay, and in here, in the dungeon, apparently, that he got his summoned creatures to build for him, got a bunch of boxes. Is there anything lurking behind these? Oh, there's some gold here. Yoink. Yoink. Do we think there's anything lurking in here? I've heard that this is the kind of game where they love to hide like little bits and pieces off of... Aha, see there's a gold coin down there. Where they like to hide bits and pieces in like off the beaten track, which is great because I love exploring in games like these. I am not going to be speed running this game. Blue Elder. Guessing these are various herbs that we can use in alchemy. Meadowberry. Dragon Root. Snapper Weed. Belt. Now, belts apparently are another type of equipment that were added in Night of the Raven. Let's see. I have it here. So this is a belt of force, and it gives me a strength bonus of 5. So you just equip it like any other piece of equipment. So I may as well equip that. I guess that'll make my attacks a bit stronger, my melee attacks. So let me just finish picking up all of these herbs and stuff. Woodland Berry, Blue Elder. And there's an unfortunate guy. Like, did Xardas kidnap this guy and have him die and have all the flesh flayed off his bones like in the last 13 days that he's had this tower built? Because if not, then this guy is purely here for aesthetic reasons, and like all of this kind of malarkey and the moss on the walls and stuff are just because he likes the decor of it, which frankly seems a little odd. Well, I think that's it for in here. And that then takes us to the outside world. But I am going to leave it there for this episode. Thank you very much for watching, and I will see you next time on Von Milhausen Plays Gothic 2.